To other world news now. With literally minutes to spare before a midnight deadline expired, Benjamin Netanyahu was able to inform Israel's president that he'd managed to build a new government. This new lineup will see Mr. Netanyahu serve as prime minister for a sixth time. The coalition he'll be heading up is, though, one of the most far-right administrations in the country's history. Two leaders of the religious Zionism bloc feature in the alliance that's been pieced together. For more on this story, we can speak now to Yossi Mekelberg from Chatham House in London. Thank you very much for being with us here on France 24 this hour. Israel has become something of a revolving door when it comes to ruling coalitions. Is there any way of knowing now how strong or stable this new one is and how long it might last for?
Good evening. First of all, it is going to be the most far-right government in Israeli history. Nothing even close to that if you go all the way back to 1948. If it's stable, time will tell. On the face of it, this is a coalition with more members of Knesset supported than for a long time after this fifth election, 64 compared to probably 51 that against it and few that are undecided. But there are already intrinsic issues in this coalition that will create potentially tensions and friction. And I think they probably now kick the can down the road 6 months, a year. And also the friction that it will bring probably with the international community that will put a lot of pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu not to cave into everything that the far right in his coalition demands.
Now, you mentioned him there. One of the most controversial figures in Israeli politics is back in office again. After spending so long in previous spotlights, what more can Benjamin Netanyahu offer Israelis?
Netanyahu at this stage of his political life can't offer anything. Let's remind our listeners, our viewers, that he is now facing a corruption court case for 3 very serious indictments. So his main concern is to ensure that his court case stops, that he doesn't spend time behind bars. That's why he's ready to give the far right everything that they ask and more. So in this stage, he's more interested in staying of power for power's sake and deal with his legal issue. As a result of it, he became actually his old hostage by the far right. If you see the long list of legislation that he actually agrees, Netanyahu of yesteryears would have never agreed to what he actually agrees now. There is a long list of legislation that actually enshrine corruption within the Israeli system, enshrines the occupation, annexation, anything but name, and probably the oppression of Palestinians and the entrenchment of the occupation more than ever before.
Mr. Mekelberg, I want to give our viewers a quick update on some news that happened this Thursday. The Palestinian Health Ministry says that Israeli troops have killed another Palestinian militant with links to Hamas in the West Bank city of Nablus. With this far-right coalition now set to pick up the reins of power in Israel, in your view, might this kind of crackdown on the Palestinian community be a sign of things to come?
I already know that there is fear, increased fear among Palestinians. Look at one piece of legislation that Netanyahu has agreed with the far right to actually give immunity from investigation and prosecution of soldiers and other security forces in Israel in case of such incidents as the one that you mentioned right now. Now, there is not all incidents are actually the crimes is committed, but some are. Some cases are, but they won't be even investigated. This sends a message to the soldiers, to the police that serves in the West Bank. We can do whatever we like. And some of them, not all of them, let's not put all of them in the same bucket, but some of them would going to be trigger happy because they share the political opinion with people like Ben Gvir that think the Palestinians should not have even been there.
Okay, Yossi Mekelberg, an Associate Fellow from Chatham House in London. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on France 24.